G'day y'all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. In this video, I'm going to be having a look at Peppermint OS. So I'm calling this a distro reflections. Probably something new that I'm trying out. I'm going to be checking out distros that I think are probably worthwhile, just having a quick look at what it was when it started and what it is now. Probably distros that I think are worth looking at. So that's what that's all about. And let's check it out. Firstly, what I'm going to be doing is having a look at the very first Peppermint OS that I downloaded. I still got that ISO. So I thought I'd take a look at that. So let's check that out. So let's have a look at that very first distro I downloaded, and then let's have a look at what's changed with the latest distro. So this was the very first distro that Peppermint OS put out when they first released, with the new developer coming on board, basing it on Debian. So full screen appears to be working without any problems. Now let's just do a quick install of Peppermint OS. Let's just check out what that's 3.2.36 was Calamares. Let's go next. Australia Perth for me. Keyboard, English Australian default. Erase disk, we'll do a quick erase disk. That's our disk selection up there. I've only got one. And next, and then we do the users. And that's my user information entered. Let's go next. There's our summary, and we'll click install. And that's the install complete. So let's log into the freshly installed desktop. And that is the first Peppermint OS that came out. And we had install web browser, because I don't think we had a web browser at all. Only the ICE application for web apps. It's pretty much the only main thing installed. Couple of applications there, not much. There you go, accessories, development, ICE, multimedia. That'll be XFCE settings mostly, I would have thought, and system settings as well. So you got Synaptic, GDebi, Dconf editor, task manager, XFCE terminal. So when this first came out, installing a web browser, I believe Firefox was not the latest ESR version. Now I don't know if that still has the issue with this one, but let's try that. I'm not sure if it was ever solved. It looks like 91.12, it was 70 something I think, so it's definitely solved even in the first ISO. And that is complete. We can close that and we should have Firefox ESR installed. There we go. And I'm pretty sure it's 91 something there. Help and about Firefox 91.12. Now I'd have to think that's the latest Firefox ESR, possibly. So you didn't even have a web browser to use. And in here we've got Peppermint Hub, and we've got these options here. Snap Store, Flat Hub, App Image. App Image is working by the looks of it. App Image Hub. So it's taking to the App Image Hub. Flat Hub takes you to Flat Hub, to the quick setup page where you can get your information for quick setup. And you would have to select Debian because Peppermint is now based on Debian, and you'd have to run these commands. So this one you'd only use if you're using the GNOME software. Then you need that plugin for Flatpaks to show up in the software, the GNOME Software Center. The GNOME store there, and let's have a look. Is that GNOME store? So that just gives you information about the GNOME store, so you'd have to install it. And your suggested packages, which is where we installed Firefox from. And you got the GNOME software store you can install from there. So that's the Peppermint Hub, and also the Welcome to Peppermint screen. Install a web browser, Peppermint Extras. What was the Peppermint Extras? Peppermint Themes, Peppermint Icons, Peppermint Wallpaper, ICE Tutorial, Open Pep Hub, and Release Notes. So that was a very quick look at the Peppermint OS when it first came out. So what we're going to do now is do a quick install of the latest Peppermint download. I'm hoping it's still the same because I downloaded it a while ago. I might just check on the Peppermint website to see whether that is still the same. Let's see, Peppermint OS. Okay, so this is one of the problems here with Peppermint is they don't have any dates or anything put on their ISOs, so you don't really know which one you're downloading, unfortunately. But we'll go with the one I've got. It is the latest one anyway, about a month ago or so. So we'll shut this one down and we'll check out the latest Peppermint ISO. Now we're going to be looking at Peppermint OS 22nd of the 5th. I downloaded that, so that's almost 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Not quite 3 months, 2.5 months. So hopefully not much has changed with any ISO since then. I'm not really sure because they don't have a numbering scheme on their ISOs, which would be very handy if they did, then you know which one you've downloaded. So I think the Peppermint team should probably look at that, I think. That's why I date mine, so I know when I've downloaded it. So let's check that out. And the whole idea of this is to check out the differences between what is now and what was then. Let's full screen that. So we've got Peppermint OS Live. Let's do that. So the whole reason for this process here is just to check out what Peppermint was like when it first started, and then we can see what sort of changes have been made with the distro that's out now, or the latest distro anyway. And if it's not the latest, you'll still see some differences within this anyway. I suppose the first thing you can see straight off the bat is the change of the wallpaper. Strikingly different right there. We still get the option of these things here. So the Peppermint Welcome gives you the option to install a web browser here. So the welcome screen works pretty well in this case in both scenarios on the live desktop environment and also post-install, because if you plan on just checking this out within the live environment, then you've got the option to install a web browser. Let's just check that out real quick, see what it opens up there. So it opens up the select your software packages. So there's quite a few selections there. And then you've got Peppermint Extras, themes, icons, and wallpapers. Let's just check that. So let's cancel that. So it still doesn't give you the option to download or cherry pick themes, which was the same with the first one or the original one that I showed prior to this. You still just got to download the whole lot of the themes and icons and probably the wallpaper. So there's no cherry picking there. Then you got ICE Tutorial, Open Pep Hub, and the Pep Hub is here. And then you got these options here: Desktop Environment Settings, Settings Manager. I think that changed. I don't think that was in the previous one. It might have been changed since then. But now you got this H block here, Snap Store, App Image Hub. What does that do now? Same thing. Takes you to the App Image Hub where you can download some app images, same as the first one. And the suggested packages will be the same as what we looked at before. Yep. So not a huge amount of differences there. So let's start up the installer and see what possible changes might have taken place within the installer. Let's look at About here, 3.2.57. Okay, next. Australia Perth, pick that up straight away. Keyboard, English Australian default. We'll choose Erase Disk, which is already chosen, and I don't remember seeing this one on the previous install. Maybe I just missed it. I would probably go swap the file, and it gives you the option of ButterFS, F2FS, and XFS. Then we go next. Now this is where the biggest changes have been made, is mainly within the installer. So that's full screen that. So what you've got here is the developer's choice, and it looks like these are cherry picked from the developer. For what reason, I'm not sure, whether he's suggesting that these applications work the best in Peppermint or whether they're just his personal choice. Not really sure about that one. Then you've got, outside of the cherry-picked applications from the developer, you've got XFCE for goodies, internet applications, email clients, social clients, download managers, networking tools, and then you've got office suites, printing support, audio video players and codecs, other video tools. What's other video tools? Oh yeah, okay, yep, so webcam tools, video converters, video editors, video players, other audio tools, audio converters. You got lame and sound converter handy, audio editors, audio players, audio video codecs. So you got all the codecs needed there. That's really handy as well, I must say. So you don't have to go looking around for all the codecs. You don't need to be watching any of my other videos to know what codecs to install. So they've given you the options there and everything up front, the GStreamer stuff. I'm not sure if the libDVD package is in there or not. Doesn't look like it, unless I missed it. Then you got Graphics Studio, Blender, Darktable, Flameshot, GIMP, all that stuff there, all that good stuff. Utilities, archive applications, disk and USB tools, fingerprint driver, package managers, password managers, resource monitors, system applications, system utilities, terminal emulators. Then you got Linux driver modules, Broadcom as well, NVIDIA driver support. Still got Legacy 390, not sure if that'll work or not. My Optimus Manager, well, I don't know whether that would work. That's interesting though. Maybe I might try it on my Toshiba satellite, see if that works. I'd be interested to see if that works, but not many things work on the Toshiba satellite, unfortunately. But you never know. You never know until you give it a go. And then you got Wine. So that's the biggest change in Peppermint there. Now, there might have been some changes in the Peppermint hub. I don't think there was changes in the welcome screen. Maybe within the Peppermint hub, possibly. I didn't go right through it, but it all looks very similar. There's very slight changes there. But these are all good options, and you've got internet applications. So what that does is it allows you to install your browser of choice, although it doesn't have just standard Firefox. But I think there was a lot of criticism of no web browser at all in the first Peppermint. So you install everything, you just don't have a browser out of the box. So I think this one sorts that out, and you can actually cherry pick all the applications you wish to install. Before starting up into your new desktop environment, you've got everything you need, or you can do it post-install. It doesn't really matter. I don't know whether they've got options, this many options post-install. We'll have to check that out. So what I will do is I will install Firefox ESR and maybe just a couple of other things. Maybe Thunderbird as well. We'll do that. And let's go for not an Office Suite, because that'll probably take too long. A graphics. Let's just install GIMP. An audio video player. That's just install VLC. And a video player MPV. So let's do that. And maybe simple screen recorder. Let's do that and see. Let's just see whether they all installed correctly. Maybe I should write these down. I will. I'll write them down. I'm doing that right now because I'll probably forget what I chose. Okay, so they're all written down. Let's click next. Username info is the same as the previous install, and next. There's our summary. Maybe we'll just drop that down, and then we'll click install, and off we go. So that is the install complete. I will restart, and we'll check out the freshly installed desktop environment. So let's check Peppermint OS after install. Log in. And there's our Peppermint welcome with a quick change of wallpaper automatically there. I've got a web browser, so I don't need to worry about that. So let's close the welcome. Let's go to the Peppermint Hub, hardware and software. And I think that was the only change, was this H block here. Now let's just check our applications. Graphics I installed. Well, let's go from the top. Firefox. Firefox is not there. Thunderbird is not there. I installed a VLC. Yep. Simple screen recorder. Yep. MPV and GIMP. So GIMP's there. There's no MPV. No. No Firefox. No. That's interesting. And Thunderbird. No Thunderbird either. So that's very interesting. So I wonder if there's a new ISO out that solves those issues, if those issues are known by the Peppermint team. I know Dan does a lot of testing for Peppermint, so maybe that's something he's picked up in the past. So I suppose we will have to open, well actually no, we can go to, we've got suggested packages. Suggested packages. So the darkened items are already installed. I may need to download another ISO maybe, but I would have thought that all the options that they had on the installer could have been in here as well. But what we need to do is install Firefox. We'll definitely do that and install selected. Definitely didn't install selecting it within the Calamares installer. Now these problems might be fixed already, I'm not sure. I may have still another old ISO even though it's newer than the first one I downloaded. And that's done. Let's check it out. Internet, Firefox. Okay, so it definitely was an issue there, wasn't there? So I'd have to think that that's probably been sorted in some way. Something as simple as that would have been picked up by the testers for sure, I'd have to think. So what we're going to do here is a little bit of side-by-side action here. All right, so we've got the desktop environment here. This is the old one. This is the new one. So not a lot has changed within those ones there. And then we've got the hardware and software. So we've got disk utilities, which is gnome disk. Users and groups. Not a lot would have changed there either, I wouldn't think. I didn't do printers, did I? Let's just quickly do printers. So same printer dialog box there, that should be fine. Network connections. Nothing much to see there, to be honest. I'm on a wired because it's a virtual machine. So dconf editor. I'll be careful. Yep, okay, so they're pretty much the same, no difference there. Okay, so in the new one, we've got a pulse audio volume. So that's new. Let's check that out. So that opens the pulse audio volume control, which wasn't in the first ISO. And then we've got suggested packages. The GNOME store is a little bit further down now in this one. So suggested packages. Let's have a look at those two. So not really much has changed in that, to be honest. Pretty much the same there. System information. That's the system information there. Update manager. So neither of these have been updated yet. So there you can see a huge difference between the update manager. This one was the update where it just did it in the terminal. Let's just see if that's still reacting the same way. Let's just see if that reacts the same way as it did originally, whereas it updated and then just closed without any information at all. And then this one here, we've got the update Pep Tools. Use the buttons to update your tools or systems. So we've got system updates, which probably should be the same as this anyway. Oh, it's got its own little screen there. I might actually stop that update. I'm stopping that update because I still want to see, let's just stop the updates. Because I still want to see the differences between these here. So that's the update manager, flat hub, flat hub. So flat hub on both just takes you to the quick setup screen in flat hub. Yeah, that one took quite a while to open up, that one. Probably because of the updates running in the background. I think I clicked it one too many times. We've seen the app image one. You got Synaptic, there's nothing, there will be not much difference with Synaptic. snap store. So our browser's open already, so that's pretty handy. So accept and accept. So same thing there with the snap store. Then we've got GNOME store and GNOME store, which just takes you to a GNOME website telling you about Flatpak and GNOME. Same deal. That just gives you information on the GNOME store, but if it was installed, then the GNOME store would open. That's how that's working. And then in here you had Pulse Audio, which is up here. But the other difference here is this H block, applying deny list, sanitizing block list, sorting block list, applying format template. Okay, so I'm just going to say Control C on that and cancel that. So that's just a blocking tool. And as you can hear, you can probably hear that it's raining pretty heavy here. Every time I make a video lately, it's raining. And heavy and loud. So that's the differences between the two here. What I might actually do here is download the latest Peppermint ISO to see whether that's been updated and there's no issues with installing Firefox within the installer. Just so I'm not putting Peppermint in a bad light here. My ISO may be out of date. So I shall stop this video and come back with another ISO installation. So what I've done is I've downloaded the latest Peppermint OS today, 13th of the 8th, 22, Saturday, the 13th of August. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this one and see how we go with that. So let's get on with that. So that looks the same at the moment. I like this hub because as soon as you click on that hub button, your display is front and center right there, top left. So I just had to restart there because the mini toolbar was on. I got to remember to turn that mini toolbar off. So let's get on with the install and see what happens. And let's go to about 3.2.57. That's the same. Next, Australia Perth, Australian default, and there was no option here in the very first ISO that I downloaded. There was none of these options here. So we can do swap to file, and I'll just choose ext4 anyway. And next. So what we're going to do here, still got developer's choice here. Now where did we do? I think we installed from web browsers here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I don't want to change what I did the first time and install it from here because it may install. Or should we do that? No, I want to do this one because I want to see whether we have the same results or not. So I suppose we need to do the same things as before. So Thunderbird, Firefox Thunderbird, audio video players was VLC, audio players, VLC. Video players, I also put MPV, and there's another VLC down here, and graphics I did GIMP. So let's do those, and let's go next. And that's my username information complete, and let's go next. Seem to have the install comes up with green now when you hover over it. I don't think that was a thing in the previous one, so that's interesting. That was happening on all buttons. So cancel is red, back is yellow, install is green. So that's pretty handy. So that's install, and off we go. Okay, so that's the install complete. Now I do see some differences here with these buttons and this little tick here, restart now. So there are some differences, so hopefully the ISO is a slightly different one to the one I had before. So let's click done. Actually, I might restart after, I think. Peppermint OS, let's log into our freshly installed desktop. Hopefully we have Firefox and a few others installed, which would be nice. I'd have to think that would have been a script error within the Calamares installer, not installing Firefox. I'd have to think. Oh, and that's our welcome screen. I forgot that was going to pop up. So we'll close the welcome screen. and we'll go to internet. Firefox is installed, Thunderbird's installed, lovely. So there must have been a problem there and they fixed it. So I'm happy about that because I didn't want to put Peppermint in a bad light. There must have been just some errors there within the Calamares installer and the script that was running. MPV, VLC, graphics, there's no GIMP. So there's no GIMP installed. That's interesting. So there's still one that didn't install and that's GIMP. Pretty sure I selected GIMP. I will know when I start editing the video and I get to this part of it. I will know that whether I did select GIMP or not. So the one thing with the updater here is, let's just check it out real quick. Update manager. You got system updates. Let's just see how many updates are there. And that's complete, so not many updates at all. So I'm glad that they changed that and they've got that saying completed once it's done. It says done and it also says completed, which is nice. So people are aware what's going on, which wasn't happening in the first distro they released. It actually just closed and didn't give any feedback whatsoever. So that's nice. Then you also got this update Pep Tools. And your Peppermint tools have been updated. It doesn't tell you what's been updated, but I'm sure if there's anything updated, you would probably know anyway. So the Pep tools, the main ones are the welcome and the hub. Oh, the hub's open already anyway. So the update manager options we got here. Set a schedule for Peppermint tools. So you can set a schedule for when the Peppermint tools get updated. The updater will check the Git repos for any new updates that may be available and install them. Additionally, system updates will check the Debian or Devuan repos depending on what spin of Peppermint you are running. Okay, I'm not saving anyway because I didn't change anything. Let's close that. So yes, you might have seen that on my VirtualBox, not there, on my VirtualBox I have got Peppermint Devuan there, which I'm going to be trying out. It would be nice to know if it did update. Maybe there is no updates to the tools and maybe it does tell you there just wasn't any updates. It just tells you it was complete. Not sure about that one. So the welcome screen, we've still got this install browser, which takes you to the software selections. Kumo tutorial. So the Kumo is the new Peppermint OS. Is that being changed in here? Let's just check that out real quick. Forgot about that. No, it's still called ICE, so they must be still working on it. It's a tool that is used to manage site-specific web browsing. It uses SQLite to store the links that are used for the SSB. tkinter is used for the interface. This means you can run Kumo independent to whatever your desktop environment is. PyQt Web Engine is used to bind to the Qt Web Engine, and this allows Kumo to not be dependent on a specific web browser. The Qt Web Engine provides functionality for rendering regions of dynamic web content. It is a module that provides a web browser engine that makes it easy to embed content from the web into Kumo, which does not have a native web engine. Features: Kumo allows the user to create a new SSB and decide to make it publicly available to all users or only keep it available for the current user. The user can also decide where to place the SSB in their menu. Additionally, once the SSB is installed, the user can delete or update the SSB as needed. Finally, in the scenario where a user just wants to have an SSB in their database but not install it on their system, the user can simply launch it on the Apps tab. If you are not using Peppermint OS and you want to use Kumo, you will want to make sure you install the required dependencies first. You will need these dependencies here, all of these, favicon, BS4, SQLite 3, request, tkinter. If you are running Peppermint OS, you are already running most of the requirements. You only need to do this if you are running the 5th, 22 and prior builds. In terminal, run sudo pip3 install favicon. Okay, if you're running 5th, 22. It's still called ICE in the menu. To get Kumo on your Peppermint system, open the Peppermint Hub, click on the Hardware and Software tab. Peppermint Hub is here. Click on the Hardware and Software tab, which is this one here. Click Update Manager, click Update Pep Tools, which I did. How to use Kumo once you have updated your Pep Tools. You can open Kumo by open the Peppermint Hub, click on the Hardware Software tab, click Kumo. There it is, Kumo. Wow. Enter your system password. When Kumo opens, you have 3 tabs. Right, so that's where, so it did update some tools, I just didn't know, so that's interesting. I'm not sure what xDaily is. Let's have a look at Kumo. Kumo. Oh, there we go, Peppermint Kumo, very nice. Logged in user PC TLC. Enter the name of the app. All right, I normally do a NetBank, so I'm going to try that. And enter the URL, so I will grab the URL for that. And that'll give me a chance to open Firefox as well, which will speed it up a bit once Kumo is working. So NetBank login, let's try that. I've done this before on videos anyway. Log into NetBank, that's my banking website. So copy that. Enter the URL, paste. I'll just right click there, but it pastes it directly. Install app, enable this if you want the app on your menu. Icon location, all right, let's click that. Icon location, so that's install app. Enable this if you want the app on your menu. I suppose we do that, yeah, okay. Favicon, let's see if it grabs a favicon. Don't see anything happening there. We normally get a favicon for NetBank. Where in the menu? It'd have to be internet. Network, that'll do. Oh, it should be internet, shouldn't it? There's no internet there. Should be an internet. Audio, video, I'm scrolling up and down, it's not moving. System, Office, network, graphics, development. Okay, that's a bit of an issue, isn't it? We need, I'll do network for now. We've got network there. We don't even have a network. Interesting. Let's just delete that. And it's not doing favicons either, which normally ICE does. Make this app available to all users. So we need a icon. Let's just try bank. I don't think there'll be a bank in there anywhere. And I can't see the text on that. The text must be white. Does not exist. Okay. Yeah, the text is white. Let's just do home. It's not searching. So can we search? No, we can't search. Alright, so it looks like there's a little bit of work to be done with Kumo. Favoricon's not working. So let's go to internet and open ICE. Enter the web address there. NetBank. In internet, so you've got all your menu categories there, which doesn't seem to be the case. It's got some of them, but not all of them. Select icon or use site favicon. There we go. And there's the site favicon. It's in Firefox, and apply. Simple as that. And we go to internet, we go to NetBank, and there it is. Manage, select the app to manage. Edit name. Maybe I'm not using this correctly. So select the app you want to launch. This is an easy way to run your application without installing a SSB app. After you've selected the app you want to launch, click the run button. So you can do the URL, paste. Can't paste into there either. It won't let me paste. NetBank. Does it find anything for NetBank? Go, URL. I need to paste that, don't I? Thought I had that URL in there. Copy that. Close that. Paste. It's not pasting. Control V. Oh, there we go. Icon location. I don't know where the icon location would be. Let's run that. Okay, that's enough for Kumo for now. Looks like Kumo may need a little bit more work there. That's fine. But it is in the Peppermint Hub under Hardware and Software. xDaily, I'm not quite sure what that is. xDaily. xDaily. I'm not really sure what that does. Maybe it's something to do with this. Let's go back into Kumo and find out whether that has anything to do with that. Let's just see if we put an icon in. Let's just put a battery icon. That'll do. A battery icon will do. We're in the menu. Let's just go Office. Install. Let's go to Office and see if it's there. NetBank. There we go. So it is working. That worked. It didn't work because yeah, I didn't install, did I? No, that's what I didn't do. But it's a bit unfortunate the favoricon's not working. A little bit of work in progress there, I would say, for Kumo. So that was some differences and the progress of PeppermintOS. They've come a long way, and I like the package installer. Still not 100%. GIMP didn't install, and I'll definitely know whether I did check that off. I'm pretty sure I did. So there must be some script problems within the Calamares installer. They all installed except for one this time. I think GIMP installed beforehand on the previous one. So, and they got Kumo as well. Maybe I was doing something wrong with Kumo. It looks like it's only new, so it's definitely a work in progress, and I could have been definitely doing something wrong as well. I don't always get it right when I'm first looking at applications, and especially when I'm recording. So I'm not the best at that, to be honest. But Peppermint's looking good so far. I am running it on real hardware. I've been using it today, actually. It's running on my HP EliteBook there, so that's running really well. It's been on there for a little while now, and just update it and it goes. And I'm also running it as my Plex server as well, so that's Peppermint's running great on those machines. I'm pretty happy with that. The progress of Peppermint has come a long way. I would like to see the options that they have within the Calamares installer somewhere within the system after install. I think that would be a pretty nice touch. But then again, that probably defies having the software center or the GNOME software and the Flatpaks and all that. Maybe even a list of what was available so you can remember what you might have wanted to install. So a list would be nice, but even put that list within the packages list, maybe have that a complete list. That would be pretty nice, I reckon, if you could do that. Because their packages list is very, very small compared to the one that's within the Calamares installer. So that was the progress of PeppermintOS. So we'll be probably looking at Peppermint Dev Yuan in the near future as well. So I'm keen to have a look at that. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and thanks for watching.